Good afternoon. This is a week 2 status update of my project. Um, I feel I wasn't all that productive. I guess maybe I was, but I had other stuff going on. So I don't know. We'll see how much I did. So if we start the game and we'll go to, once it's done, we'll play in, oh, never mind. Let's try that again. Game, full maximized, and play. So you'll notice that the store looks different and this guy's different. So starting out here, we have some, well, they're placeholder cubes that will eventually become store shelves. And we have glass walls and a sidewalk, no textures or anything. And just kind of like trying to build a, little bit more into the world. So it's not just say, oh, here I am inside a square. Um, Obviously, the world is just ends here. But I had created this texture here. Well, I didn't create. I'm sorry. I downloaded this texture, this avatar, and had him imported, but he doesn't have any textures, which is really weird because he has textures on the website I downloaded him from, and the textures are in the game. I haven't figured out how to like assign them to him. So this is Remy. At least that's what the avatar is called, and I call this technically this is low poly magician. So I'm just calling him Merlin. I don't know why his texture is showing up, but the other one. But I didn't get that from the same place. This was Unity Asset Store, and this was Mixamo, I think it's called. But anyways, so I have two, and it'll just randomly pick one or the other. Um, as you may have noticed, there's now three guys here, which is fine. I put in, um, I've implemented NPC dialogue. So before I had the dialogue box down here, but I didn't like that because if you had more than one person talking, you couldn't really tell who was talking. So I put a little window above his head. It's not perfect because like you'll see here when I take his money and I just whatever give it back, you'll notice that it just kind of follows him. But that's not the problem. The problem is that it follows him and rotates. So um, when the character rotates around, not the character, but then I think the desk is floating. When the NPC turns around, the dialog box also turns around. So it looks really weird. It's literally a billboard on top of his head. But uh, okay, sure, it's something. Um, I have no idea what that is. We'll ignore that. So same text before. I owe you $70. I paid you $70. I'm expecting change. So you right click here and so you take the money, and then in the corner this is still the same. One thing I did is last week you had to click on each bill individually, but now you actually implemented the put all bills and take all bills. So if you shift left click, you notice that the $10 went from 3 to 0, and then here the $1 bills, there's two of them, and now there's 0. And you can shift right click for some reason you wanted to take all of the $1 bills and give them out, but so that's there, and then you can just say he wants nothing, so you just give it here. And this guy, he wants nothing, so I take his money and go click, 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 and don't give him anything. He isn't facing the right direction, so that's kind of bad. I kind of want to figure out how to make the dialog box always face the camera, the player. That I only implemented this like 10 minutes ago, so there's that. And that's kind of it for this. Like I said, I've got some other stuff going on, and um, I've been trying to figure out Blender. So like I wanted to make a storefront with glass and then some pillars and some doors and stuff. But yeah, I've been struggling a lot with Blender. It's very different. The programming part of this endeavor is really fun and easy for me. Trying to figure out Blender and how to draw things properly is really, I'm struggling with it. But I'm looking at tutorials and trying to figure it out. But that thing, well, the other thing is I took the lights out because it looked kind of weird, and I figured out kind of, I didn't figure out. I looked up how to find how to make a sun. So, whoops. Um, yeah, so it's a little bit more naturally lit, so to speak. But I'll probably still put some um, lights in. Just they felt really odd before. My next goal is to implement the shopping system. So, like I said, I put these shelves in here, and what I was thinking of doing is I made a list of like 10 items, 8 or 10, I think it's 8 items that um, I'm sort of selling, like cereal and oatmeal and soup and stuff. And when the NPC spawns in, he'll spawn in and immediately come up with a shopping list. He's like, I want 2 boxes of cereal and 3 boxes of soup and whatever, and then he'll find the first item on the list. Well, not necessarily first, the closest item on the list, and go to that, cross it off, and then he'll basically just wander around the store getting the items, and then he'll go to the front of the store and he'll say, "Hey, I haven't I don't know how to implement the whole him giving me items yet. So for the short term, he'll just say, I bought these items. And what I want the player to do is, so let's say the guy comes in, he just buys 1 can of soup, and the can of soup is $1 because I haven't implemented change or coins. So the can of soup is $2, let's say. So he'll come up and say, Hey, I have a can of soup I want to buy. And the player needs to know how much the can of soup is, or at least for now. Eventually, once I get the actual item, the object rendered in the game, I want to make it so that it's like he'll have a shopping basket and he'll put the shopping basket down, and then you'll click an item in the basket, and it comes out and it's a can of soup, and you're holding it in your hand, and you have to search, not search, but scroll around, look look on the item for the the price tag. So I'm going to make it dynamically create a price tag and stick it on there. It says $2. And so you find the price tag, it says $2, and then you'll enter it into the cash register or whatever, and then says, okay, $2, and that's how much he owes. And then he'll know how much he owes, but he won't tell you that. So right now he's telling you that he owes you $283, but he's not going to know that, or he's not going to tell you that. You have to figure out how much he owes, and I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to handle that part. But eventually, you'll determine the total, and you can be wrong or not. I mean, later on, when you have automated cash registers, you'll just scan the barcode, and that'll figure it out for you. But to start with, not just from an early point of development, but from an early point of the game, you have to do that manually. You're gonna have to look at the price tag and say, okay, this is 2 cans of soup, that's $4, or it's 2 cans of soup and a box of cereal, that's $5 or something. And so you can either look at the price tag, or you can, if you want, you can just go over here and like, okay, here's the soup, and it says soup is $2. Then you just kind of remember that, or write it down, or whatever, and you basically just got to figure it out. I'm thinking for the initial phase, that's not really the word, like um, initial level, so to speak, you don't have a cash register. You got your box of money and a calculator, and you're gonna like have to figure it out yourself. And I kind of want to implement a receipt system, so maybe I have like a pad of paper, and the pad of paper will automatically um, figure it out. Well, I mean, if it figures out for you, if the pad of paper automatically creates a receipt without you inputting it, then That kind of defeats the purpose of knowing how much money you owe. But that could be a cheat sheet though. You can just like click, click, click. Okay, 3 cans of soup, and then you just click at the pad of paper and says, "Oh, there's 3 cans of soup was $6," and then you tell them, or you can maybe have to tell it, figure it out yourself, and then the receipt figures it out. I don't know. This is so early. There's still a lot of stuff to do before I'm at that point. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. I definitely want to implement. The next phase is to get these guys actually buying stuff instead of just giving me money and taking money. But that'll be next time. And honestly, I'm not really sure how much time I'm going to have to work on it this week. Again, I've got stuff going on. But I'm going to try. My evenings are mostly open. But in the meantime, that's what I got. This door is eventually going to lead to the back room, but there is no back room, so also I don't know how to make a door. But that's it. So thank you. I appreciate you.